people, keep your world here. Just bring another subject when it comes to exercise performance related to bodybuilding, such strength training, MMA, professional wrestling, weightlifting, sadly CrossFit, um, whatever physical activity that everybody does. This is today. I just want to talk about basically what it will be something that all the things I talk really is things that you're not gonna find in another YouTube channel because everybody's like really worried about showing their 8 pack or their 6 pack, which I have year round already, or their new glute work or their new arm work or their new trap workout, how big glutes can be or how shredded they can get. No, I talk about things that nobody wants to talk about. In a previous video, I talk about how getting into deep quality sleep, something extremely important when you are like in bodybuilding or any kind of fitness physique competition or pro wrestling or MMA or Olympic weightlifting as an athlete or as someone who has a high stress job, fast paced job, and you like to work out for looking good, or basically because you are part time also power lifter or Olympic weightlifter or do track and field and cross country. Nobody understands that how important is getting deep sleep when you're not a professional athlete that only eats, sleeps, and trains. When you have so many responsibilities, and also how you can manage with having some few quality hours of sleep. So today's video is also I'm gonna just talk about intensity and effort, intensity versus effort, how to improve your intensity during your effort. So I'm not gonna brag. I'm not gonna brag about. I know a few things about that. Being a bodybuilder, competitive bodybuilder, amateur competitive bodybuilder. Basically, I'm trying to get this year my professional card for 6 years. But before moving to this country, I was a doctor in physiotherapy for 7 years. So both experience with athletes. MMA fighters, Olympic weightlifter, crossfitters, myself as a bodybuilder gave me a lot of empirical experience plus all my academics. So getting into the fact that when you are properly set up for your physical activity, let's call it bodybuilder workout, Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, or any kind of weight training, resistance training, or athletics like swimming or gymnastics. There's some kind of people, they don't know to recognize what is intensity and what is effort. Two different things, but at the same time extremely close together. So I'm gonna use several concepts that I have for my personal notes for all over the years. I'm gonna read them. I'm gonna just explain to everyone what it means. Each one is how to know when you need to apply more intensity or when your effort is failing. So that way everybody can have like their own concept or the same concepts I'm just explaining about in their own words. So intensity will be like the load of work that you're gonna do in a matter of time, applying your max. So that's one of the concepts. Let me check it here. Intensity will be all the energy that you're gonna put in an activity, a physical activity. Intensity will be referred during weightlifting or bodybuilding or gymnastics to applying the maximum amount of tension during setup movement. It can be trying to move the heaviest load that you can using all your power, all your strength in a matter of, the range of motion of the applied biomechanics. Intensity is the amount of energy that you're gonna use in that moment for getting a task done. Let's say I'm using the prowler, so I'm gonna use all my energy to push it as far as I can because it's the heaviest I can, or because I want to do it the fastest. Intensity will be the amount of force and strength and power that my legs will have to produce for running the 100-meter run. Normally, intensity is something that you apply when the workload is kind of brief or is an amount of set time. Meanwhile, effort, you can define effort, which is something independently, it goes independent of the load, of the amount of work that you're gonna like the several tasks that you're gonna perform in that specific workout. So when it comes to effort, I have one good one here. It's like effort is the perception of how hard the athlete is working during the assigned task or the assigned training. So let's say I have a chest and bicep workout, so I have to I'm thinking of applying a lot of effort during my chest and bicep workout because I feel my muscles working I feel like if I'm doing incline presses, I'm gonna feel the whole muscle fibers. If I'm doing bicep, I'm gonna feel the pump all in my bicep, 80% of my bicep and 20% of my forearms. No discomfort, any kind of discomfort on the bicep tendon. If I'm a jiu-jitsu fighter and I have to basically grapple for 45 minutes, I have to go all the way during those 45 minutes without any kind of getting, you're gonna get tired anyway, but the thing is you're not gonna go you're not gonna feel defeated, you need to stop or you're already quit. You're gonna go to the whole 45 minutes applying some steady energy to your sparring session, to your grappling session. Meanwhile, the intensity in that situation will be how hard or how much energy you're gonna apply. Meanwhile, I'm just doing any kind of the grappling moves. So when it comes to intensity and efforts, if we have a session of training that can be based off of let's take the MMA fighters or the jiu-jitsu fighter, they go through jogging, calisthenics, neck exercises, technique work, and grappling. If during that time they have to put what they think there will be their physical effort for going through the whole activity without their performance suffering. If it goes down, there's a problem on nutrition or in supplementation or in their technique or in their physical health, like rotator cuff problems, knee problems, etc. So during those activities, they can apply some kind of level of intensity because it's going to be measured by just time frames. Let's say it's going to be 20 minutes of calisthenics, it's going to be 3 sets of 20 of push-ups, it's going to be 3 sets of 100 of abs, it's going to be 4 sets of 50 Hindu squats. So he can apply a lot of intensity in those so he can get the job done in a faster way. When it comes to weight training, and when it comes to, let's say, powerlifting or bodybuilding, which normally they kind of work getting there. The intensity will be measured how much are you gonna how much how hard is going to be the job performed. If I'm used to do incline bench presses with 170 pounds for 8 reps, if I'm going to increase my load, that means that my intensity has to go even up for moving that way in the same way I will be moving the weight before. So getting intense will be trying to perform that harder work with the same way I will be something easier, but I'm gonna apply more resources. It's not the same doing a bicycle with 35 pounds for me than doing it with 60. The intensity, trying to get a good rate of motion, good form, getting a contraction there will need a lot of intensity, a lot of resources for getting that contraction in the bicep. So without sacrificing any of those. For normally intensity, when it's increased, it goes also with a elevated heart rate, increase of muscle pump, or in athletics or fighting sports, like increase of hormones like adrenaline, because they're getting like all maxed out. But let's talk about bodybuilding and powerlifting. When the intensity increase, you're gonna get a bigger muscle pump. You're gonna feel the muscles like even more sore. You're gonna feel the muscle getting tired like faster, because you're taking everything into that segment of work. For things like that, with the available technology that we have in nutrition and supplementation, there's things like pre-workout and post-workout that can take you to new levels of training. There's things like this one, from the people that did the sleeping thing. They have also their pre-workout. I found it like it's kind of great. I feel it. I really like it. Has beta-alanine, and also have like it's not like low in caffeine. I love things that are not like high in caffeine. There's also another one that I like when I'm really tired, which is HemoShock. This is like the mom of like pre-workouts, because it have like almost like 800 grams of caffeine, so just be careful when you take this one. But I like it because it has a lot of creatine here, and it's also beta-alanine, and have vitamin C for better absorption of the nutrients. For people that are doing a lot of volume work, like more than 4 sets per 3 or 4 sets per exercise, and then do it 3 and 4 exercise per muscle, remember to take an intra workout. There's a lot of great intra workouts in the market. My favorite is this one. It's called Sino, from the same people that did the sleeping thing and the pre-workout thing. I like it because it have like minerals like magnesium, potassium, has sodium, has BCAAs, so I like it. But I just mix this with essential amino acids, and I don't know, the main producer, the scientist behind all this, the pharmaceutical production guy, let's call it that way. But I use that. It works better for me as a post-workout than a pre-workout. But because I just do high intensity weight training, for me, I don't do more than 2 sets per exercise. I don't do more like 2-3 exercises per muscle. I go all out. I prefer to work a muscle several times a week with different exercises. Let's say a volume trainer will do 4 sets of chins, or like 4 sets of pull downs, 4 sets of pullovers, 3 sets of rows, 5 sets of or 3 sets of dumbbell rows, and then 5 sets of deadlifts. That will take him like almost like an hour and a half if he doesn't have a training partner, or he's working with a lot, like resting so little, and his weight is not that high, and he's not using high loads. In my case, I prefer just to do dumbbell rows, deadlifts, and pullovers on a Monday. So on Thursday I can keep the pull downs, and also do some seated rows, and that's it. So my central nervous system is fresh for both works. I can use more weight than the volume worker, I can get better contractions because my central nervous system is completely fresh, and that translates and my recovery rate is higher. So I don't need to take intra workouts. I even don't drink water when I'm training. A decade ago, I was in the military in my country, and basically, I was trained not to think of anything, don't drink water. I mean, I don't care if like there's no like in this country, gyms has like air conditioner and stuff. I used to train a gym with no even windows, so found it really funny. I don't drink water when I'm training. I don't need water. I have a reserve water on my skin, on my muscles, so I don't need water. So that's the reason I'm using that intra workout as a post workout. I love it because I have all the BCS I need post and absorptive state for getting into the muscles I work. I have all the minerals I need because when you working out, you're using all that sodium and calcium and magnesium for muscle contraction, so I get it replenished. And I just put a little bit of creatine because they don't have creatine. Basically that's it. So that's something when it comes to intensity versus effort. There's in bodybuilding and powerlifting, there's people who they like high volume training or volume training, which is several sets, several exercises. People like me, high intensity, which kind of heavy duty from Mike Menzer, or the Nautilus workouts or Dorian Yates blood angles. I have my own version, which I work more in getting angles of contraction in minimal, with high reps, high loads, high reps in minimal sets. Yeah, I know it sounds insane, but that's the way it worked for me, and it's still working. Plus cheat day and cheat weekend. Remember, always cheat weekend or cheat day. The leaner you are. So that's the reason I work with a limited amount of clients, because I get into what their biomechanics are, and for making sure they're getting 100% of contraction in that muscle when they work it. So when they go out of the gym, they get the most productive post absorptive state from recovery and hypertrophy, maximum hypertrophy. Something I can explain in later in another video. So when it comes intensity and effort, remember, if you're doing high volume, your effort is, the idea is just go to your workout in a smooth fashion and keep everything from first rep to the last rep of every set the same. That's it. If you're doing preacher curls, your first rep of that set and your last rep of that set should be done the same, no matter the pain and the muscle pump. If you're doing high intensity workout or high heavy weight workouts, the idea is every time that you're going to the idea is to just get the amount of quality reps during that exercise, and when you're gonna perform, you're gonna feel that failure, and you're gonna get into that rep that's gonna get you to muscle failure, positive failure or negative failure, or you're gonna do some isometric, some forced reps. You need to give all that you can, because after that there's no more. So we're talking about keep your intensity stable during your workout, so the effort can be in proportion to the amount of resources that you're pulling. And in the other hand, apply so much intensity so when your effort is going up and down, that you're feeling tired, you need to recuperate. When you go again to the other exercise, you can apply that much amount of force and strength and contractive capability. My pen just dropped. Contraction capability in the muscle segment you're working, so you don't crash during your workout and you can get as much productivity as possible. See you next time. Like this. Suggestion, comments, podcasts, whatever available. Let's see if we can do some I'm not gonna say rehab videos, but something like preemptive exercises for lower back and rotator cuff, and something I really like to do, which is basically unloading the joints, getting space into the joints so you can perform at your heaviest and more reps something I really like to do. That's the reason I'm like 33 years old and I can train really heavy and I don't get any kind of injury free forever. So, well, peace.